It's semi-finals week in the Leinster Schools Senior Cup, and by tomorrow evening we'll find out which two teams will contest the 2024 decider at the RDS. This competition has already produced a couple of epic battles across the opening two rounds, and with a place in the St Patrick's Day Showpiece final on offer, we're expecting even more drama. The first of our live Senior Cup semi-finals at Energia Park in Donnybrook sees the defending champions Gonzaga up against three times former winners St Michael's in a repeat of the 2019 final. Gonzaga's dramatic semi-final win over Belvedere College was a tie for the ages. This encounter could be equally memorable. Kick-off is coming up at 3 o'clock. Yes, welcome along to a very wet and a very windy and a rather cold Energia Park in Donnybrook for the first of our Leinster Schools Senior Cup semi-finals, an epic contest in prospect. We'll talk, Bernard, very shortly about the conditions, which we expect will have to have some kind of an impact. But let's talk about the defending champions Gonzaga College first, and that epic quarter-final against Belvedere College a few weeks ago. They looked dead and buried, and somehow they found a try in the 73rd minute, a converted try to win by a single point. They must be galvanised by that. They'll be full of confidence.
Yeah, they're a really skillful team, but I think they've shown unbelievable bravery throughout the season. League final came back from a big deficit against Newbridge to win, and that Terranure game, when Terranure scored that try in that bottom corner, we were sure it was over, but they went and kept the ball for the last 3 minutes and got a conversion to win it. So that's huge in a cup, the ability to win close games, and they will get massive heart from that going into today.
What about St Michael's? They actually haven't been back to a final since they won it in 2019 against Gonzaga for the third time in their history. Very, very strong side today. Again, well coached, and you know, a lot of people will fancy them today. Yeah,
they looked at the total package. Big physical team, very well coached, very well drilled, tactically smart, and I think from them, their quarterfinal against Terranure, they launched their bench early and the bench made an impact, so they've got strength and depth as well. So this is a massive contest today, and I'd say Michael's are slight favourites, but Gonzaga are a dangerous team.
Look, we got four really good games in the quarterfinals. The conditions were near perfect for the lion's share of those, so the law of averages would say we're going to get a wet and windy day. The teams are prepared for this, but it's probably hard not to think that it might just favour St Michael's, given, as you said, that abrasive physicality and set piece they have.
Yeah, the 4G surface makes it a little bit easier, but the wind and rain is very heavy, and Michael's do look like they have certainly a bigger pack physically. Gonzaga struggle at times against defending the maul in this competition. That's an area Michael's will target, and if Gonzaga can't stop that, these conditions will make it very difficult to win.
Okay, well, we're about to head up to the commentary position where it is dry, but let's first hear from both camps. Andy, good to see you. It's going to be a tough afternoon for both sets of players in testing conditions. Talk to me about how the last 12 days have gone in terms of your preparation after the quarter-final.
Yeah, they've gone really well. I mean, I think in these cup campaigns, you've got to turn the page very quick. You do your review, and then you start looking forward to the opposition straight away. So once we cleared a couple of days' rest, we were back in, and we've been working hard. Obviously, we expected these weather conditions, very reminiscent of our first-round game against Castleknock. So not ideal for both teams, but we'll just have to deal with them.
Epic battle the last day out where the game wasn't really kind of sealed until you got that fourth try close to the end. What were your main takeaways from that?
Yeah, we just gave them a lot of easy access off restarts, basically. So we'd get the 8-point lead, and then within 2 minutes we were back under our post, and it was 1 point again. So that happened twice. So we need to tidy up on that area and just make sure that the ball's kept downfield, and particularly that we are a little bit better around the restart.
Gonzaga equally would have learned a lot from their quarter-final game, to have looked to have lost it right at the death and come back and find 7 points in the 73rd minute. What did you take from looking on to their game?
Well, like looking at that game and probably a couple of the games they've been involved in this year, this Gonzaga team, they never go away, so they keep coming back. They won the league final late. They played us in January and they won in the last play, and they obviously did that again against Belvedere. So our message to our lads around that is, look, this team's never beaten. You're going to have to play them for the full 70 and whatever the extras are, because they're an incredibly talented team and they're very dangerous from 1 to 15.
You've made one switch from that titanic battle in the quarter-final. It comes in your back row today. Explain that to me, please.
Well, Gavin O'Grady, who comes into the team, is a very important player for us. He's fit again. It's an enforced switch in so much as Mossy Bruton, our second row, injured his ankle. So we've just rejigged the back row, but it's fantastic to have Gavin back. He's a great player.
Look, you've been at this stage and better a lot of times in the recent past. I think if you make it through to a final today, it'll be your 4th in 6 seasons. Is it a case of nerves, confidence? What's the mood in the camp?
Oh, look, just excitement. I think it's a massive opportunity, and look, we've been fortunate to win it last year and progress significantly. Really in the last 5 or 6 years, it's been great for the school, and we just love another opportunity to go to the RDS.
Casting our minds back to a couple of weeks ago, you were in the box seat for the lion's share of the game. Then you looked to be out of it, and then you came up with a converted try in the 73rd minute to win it. That must have galvanised the team. You must have learned a lot about their character that day.
Yeah, it was fantastic to be able to sort of engineer a win from what was a really sort of looking like bleak situation. But we've done that a lot this season. Ideally, we'd like to win in a more comfortable manner today, but I've no doubt it's going to be very, very close again.
And a quick word on Michaels. You know a lot about them. What do you expect?
Well, they're a fantastic team. I think their strengths, and they'd say it themselves, is they'd love to get field position. And we've got to make sure our discipline and physicality is, up to par, so we don't let that happen, because if the heavy artillery sort of come pounding from close range, it's very hard to repel. That's not just Michaels are having an all-court game as well.
We wish you well today.
Thanks very much, Conor.
Well, the conditions have done little so far to dampen the spirits, the voices and the atmosphere around Energia Park in Donnybrook. We are all set for the first Leinster Schools Senior Cup semi-final. It is Gonzaga College against St Michael's, live when we come back.
Sure, if it's not working, come down and shout it.
Welcome back to Energia Park in Donnybrook. Just a couple of moments ahead of the first of the Leinster Schools Senior Cup semi-final. St Michael's making their way into the dressing room. The defending champions, their opponents Gonzaga College, already in the heat and the dry of the changing rooms, having completed their warm-up as we check on the two teams for this afternoon. We will start with St Michael's, and they boast a hugely physical and mobile forward pack. They are unchanged from their quarter-final. Doohan McGuire at hooker, scoring 2 tries last time out against Terenure. Props O'Donoghue and Coogan often the source of Michael's go forward. Walsh and McKenna in the engine room, both players representing the Ireland under-19s. On the Aylesbury Road side have a nice balance around that back row. The captain, James Sherwin, you saw him a moment ago leading the side into the dressing room once again alongside Joe Quigley in the halfbacks. Charlie McConnell, superb the last day out, retains his place in midfield alongside Ethan Black. David Lucy, like his opposite number, will need no second invitation to launch St Michael's from deep off kick return. And Pat Wood and David Price, just prolific and rapid, are also excellent on both sides of the ball. Well, the Gonzaga starting team for this afternoon's semi-final shows one change from that quarter-final victory. Gavin O'Grady is fit again to take his place in the back row. Mossy Bruton, who started the quarter-final match in the second row and picked up an injury, is the player to make way. Fly half Dara O'Dwyer scored a try under the posts inside 5 minutes last time out to put Gonzaga on the front foot, and indeed his last gasp conversion secured the champions a dramatic win after Aidan O'Flanagan's try had helped rescue victory from the jaws of defeat. Luke McLaughlin, the captain, scored 2 tries in the quarter-final. JP Breslin also among the tries. Noah Byrne, a constant counter-attacking threat. The Gonzaga second row combination, of course, today will have their hands full with Michael's pair David Walsh and Fraser McKenna, and as always that back row battle will be a key indicator over the course of the 70 minutes plus. Both benches very strong. It is a 23-player plus game these days. Even those not able to make the match day squad have played a huge role over the winter weeks and months, but it all boils down to the next 70 minutes and a real test of these two sets of players and their mettle, not alone in facing up to what each of the other teams can provide, but also on an afternoon like this, the conditions, which are pretty sudden, it will really test their skill sets, and Bernard Jackman alongside. There's no doubt it will have a material impact over the course of the 70 minutes.
Yeah, it's really, really difficult conditions here, and look, both these teams would have played in them, but it does certainly feel like it will play into St Michael's favour. Gonzaga are a team who are all about getting the ball to width, and even getting that ball across the back line would be difficult with the handling. But you mentioned the back row battle, and it will be absolutely huge. But I'm looking forward to the battle between the right winger for Gonzaga, JP Breslin, and the left winger for St Michael's, Pat Wood. Both of them are key men for either team, and you'll fancy both teams to try and get the ball to them in space, and their ability to defend each other will be massive. But look at this, it's going to be a huge game, and as we said beforehand, both coaches are top notch. Andy Skeen and Declan Fassbender have put a huge amount into their schools, and realistically you can't expect these two teams to be thereabouts every year now.
We will await the entry of the two teams. And talking to Andy Skeen pre-game, he was worried in particular around the fitness or lack thereof of David Walsh in the second row. We understand they're going to line out as selected, which means that David Walsh will start in the second row alongside Fraser McKenna. A hat-trick of tries in round 1 against Castleknock. He's so crucial.
He's so crucial, yeah. I think he's got a little bit of a back problem, and it's great boost for Michaels that he's come through this, even though they've got some great bench options with Miles Berman. They haven't made a big impact last week, but David Walsh is one of the best schoolboys I've seen in 3 or 4 years, and look at whatever he does in the schools competition, I think he's got a huge future ahead of him.
Well, that's him coming out just second in command behind his captain James Sherwin, the scrum half, whose delivery at the base of the ruck right throughout this competition, and indeed last season we saw it right through the competition, is excellent. He'll look to fire his back line, but it might be, again, I know it's the old cliche, that is won and lost up front in the driving rain and the windy conditions. Brilliant atmosphere as always, so much at stake. It's been a long 2 weeks, 12 days for these sides awaiting this marquee semi-final. It really captures the imaginations, and it's got an atmosphere to match.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a real rivalry now. Obviously, geographically, both schools are very close to each other. And over the last 6-7 years, Gonzaga have just built year on year, becoming more competitive. They still play in the league format, so they don't play they don't play each other very often in friendly games. But now I think Gonzaga are genuinely a rugby force, and it's all down to this team, the team last year, Declan Fassbender, and Michaels, will have absolute respect for him today. But it's certainly far from foregone conclusion, this result.
Greedy is the man in charge.
Yeah, I have you, Sam.
Both teams just getting their final bit of prep in. And for Gonzaga, that's hitting tackle bags right underneath us. Both sides coming through epic contests in the quarterfinals. Sam Curry going to try against Castleknock in the first round for St Michael's from that back row position. Scott Penny, oftentimes the Leinster captain these days in the United Rugby Championship, he looks on a big part of the St Michael's preparation as well, and indeed 2 or 3 other players. Jack Boyle in particular, who if memory serves, scored a couple of tries the last time Michaels won this competition.
Yeah, he was a pretty good schoolboy player, and his younger brother Herbie Boyle is the star of the JCT this year, scored 3 tries last week in the Cup, and is only a second year.
Lee Barron also among the tries in the St Michael's front row.
Always in.
A few years ago in 2019. We're underway already, and let's have a look at these kicking conditions for Dara O'Dwyer as he faces into the first Michael's attack. Ball in hand of Joe Quigley, and there for Sherwin to try and get some of these big rumbling forwards going, a few bigger and more powerful and impactful than Rian Coogan on that tight head side, and indeed the man just next to him in the front row, Doohan Maguire. 2 tries the last day. Kick is the option, and look at that first start inside 40 seconds from Quigley. Absolutely brilliant.
Now look at Quigley's got an all-round game. Obviously kicking is a big part of that. Former Dublin minor, and his ability to play the conditions here. In fairness, from the kickoff, Michaels have the win. It was so hard for Gonzaga to get any real territory, and Quigley didn't hang around. He's the one who carried it back. One phase with Coogan, and then drilling into the corner and putting pressure on the line out.
Huge pressure at that for Luke McLaughlin, and it's a real contest at the front. He was looking to try and find Gavin O'Grady. The contest was good. And which way does the referee see this? Spilled forward, so we've had the first line out. Now we're going to have a look at the first scrum.
Yeah, that's exactly what Michaels would have wanted from that kick. Just getting aerial pressure, and it's so hard. Gonzaga go to the front, and just the referee felt that Michael Kennedy was knocked on in the transition there. So great scrum opportunity. They'll stack across left, bring all their backs across, and David Price, we mentioned Pat Wood's holding the left wing here, so for the crossfield kick option, but David Price, the right winger for St Michael's, is a real threat as well. Obviously there are threats all over the back line, with those 2 centres have been so impressive so far in the Cup.
Charlie McConnell scored a brilliant try, showing his power. There he is wearing number 12. They might just use him as a front door option here, and he's got a little bit of step as well, and he makes 5 metres to bring Michaels within 4. In they go to Fraser McKenna. Brilliant tackle, as it had to be. I think it was Kennedy at the coalface. David Walsh is driven back by that Gonzaga front up defence, and they go again with Doohan Maguire. All the early pressure from St Michael's here on that Gonzaga 5 metre line from the set piece. Now, did that go forward from Coogan? It did.
Yeah, but that's massive for Gonzaga. That hit from Kennedy was incredible. You kind of expect Michael's power game just to come to the fore there, having really good field position, just playing their one-out runners. This is a really good carry from McConnell in the first place. Gets him on again. But from here, expect Michaels to score. But look at that hit. McConnell on the big second row. Fraser McKenna. And just now they've got the gain line advantage. Michaels are going backwards.
That's fine.
In fairness, you see devilish tackling from Gonzaga here, and eventually just a turnover here. That ball just dips at the feet of Coogan.
There's such judges to keep them on side.
And the turnover is good.
There's so much talk, you would imagine. Maybe it doesn't even need to be said in the dressing room pre-game. As look, first time we come under pressure from this Michaels pack, make those tackles, make those impacts, those collisions, and they've done that. Now they need to exit. It wasn't the most sympathetic pass, and as such, it's not the massive gain of ground that Gonzaga would have wanted, but they're just about outside their 22.
Yeah, look, it's difficult to exit there. Scrum's on a bit of pressure, and they elected to use Noah Byrne, right foot. He's a quality runner with the ball. We saw in the quarter-final, but I think that'll just give tackle a little bit of relief. But Michaels will look now, 6+1 line out, will they take it down and drive and just test that ball defence, now to go for the breakout?
Then they do, and Dwayne McGuire just pumps the legs and gets moving and breaks a tackle or two, and they've been camped inside this Gonzaga 22 now. Attempt for a turnover from Luke McLaughlin, the captain, and he's not got lights on the ball according to Point Reedy.
Yeah, and in fairness, you can understand Gonzaga there, they have to go after the breakdown. Obviously with the wind behind them, Michaels turn down an easy 3 points here and go to the corner. But you see that just the ruck next phase after the first, good hit again. I think it's pretty harsh to be honest. I think McLaughlin had rights to that.
So McGuire. Tricky one for David Walsh, and he's juggled it, but he's got it back into the hands of his captain, and James Sherwin sets off, sniping around the fringes, trying to expose any soft shoulders, any little chink of light in that Gonzaga rear guard, which is pretty well set. All hands to the pump. It's been constant pressure for the opening almost 5 minutes of this semi-final. Breakneck speed. Sherwin again, and he's got players coming from deep on the angle. Lots of options front and back, and this time they get the turnover.
Yeah, and it's that man, the number 8, Charlie Kennedy, outstanding player, and he just
first man on his feet,
stays in the fight here. You just see really good face ball across, but he just doesn't go back in the clean out, stays in that ball, locks on, and that's a second 5-meter attack that Michaels have been thwarted in.
And such are the conditions in the opening 5 or 6 minutes here. It's almost play by play. Gonzaga just living on their wits and their physicality, and they thump that a good 10 metres further downfield this time, and if they have to edge Michaels 10 metre by 10 metre away, well, so be it. Their delivery, of course, for Luke McLaughlin this time in that second row battle is going to be so huge all afternoon. O'Dwyer got to be careful kicking to this Michaels back 3, and the same in the opposite direction as well, of course. Now Gonzaga over the ball again, and it's another penalty. 2 turnovers in quick succession.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. Hennigan is the one who makes a turnover, but when you kick, you got to kick chase, and you got to get after that first breakdown, because Michaels are really good at holding weight and getting that ball to where the space is. But that's brilliant by Gonzaga, and they'll go up the line again here. Really good kick from the 10, Dara Dwyer, and they get a chance to do something in the opposition 22.
That's a brilliant
22 is yours, okay?
Yeah, this is Lucy wants to run it back, but look at him straight in over there. In fairness, Quigley just needs a little bit more support. That's where your back row, your centres need to go in and win that first row.
Keep the space. Perfect. There's too much movement. Too much movement. You have to come in. You have to come in.
Short line out, referee ensuring that there's no skullduggery in there, no closing of the gap. That one goes against the throw. Read by Michaels, or was it a miscommunication from Gonzaga? It seemed to go straight into the breadbasket of David Walsh, and that's a big turnover.
9, use it, please.
Walsh is 6'7", in fairness. Difficult conditions to throw to the back, and he just knew if he got up just before the back, he'd have a good chance of getting over getting that ball, and good steal by him.
Okay, yeah.
Measured kick by Dara O'Dwyer, who at this stage of the quarter-final had already found themselves charging down the kick and running in under the post for Gonzaga's first try of their quarter-final. Now, Gonzaga often elect to run from deep when they can. Now, was that a little trip in midfield as Patrick Masterson dinked that one through, just dropped it onto the toe? Certainly that was the appeals of the Gonzaga support away to our left-hand side in the stand here.
Yeah, JP Breslin there just a little bit over-enthusiastic. I think it was clear that that ruck was formed. Sherwin doing a tidy-up job on the little rubber kick through from Noah Byrne. Certainly some of the Gonzaga fans felt he was maybe tackled late, but referee was happy with it. You see the ruck is formed there as such, now you could argue there was no Michaels player left, or no Gonzaga player left in it, but
so familiar field position for the St. Michael's pack of forwards. Delivery again from Dwayne McGuire is on the money. And this time they might get rumbling forward. Gonzaga a little bit bereft of numbers momentarily. Tony Kennedy's got to be careful there not to change his bind. Now where is the ball in the middle of all that? It was under the arm of Doon Maguire. Now it's been lost.
Number 7, side entry.
Penalty against Josh Mulligan, I think it is.
Yeah, you can see Michael's having the first line out play, the breakout play upstairs, just trying to take it down, drive, just test that Gonzaga defence.
Number 7,
in fairness, Gonzaga piled into them. I didn't give them any go forward, but the 7 was adjudicated to come in the side, Gavin O'Grady. And you kind of have to push the limits a little bit on maul defence. If you're not cheating, you're not defending mauls. Just a case of staying on the right side of the referee.
Oh, that's going awry from Doon Maguire. There you see the effect of the conditions, and a great carry again by Sean Hennigan. Powerful ball carrier.
Space there, sits up to him.
Risky, but it will come with reward potentially for Gonzaga. And it does sit up, and they get an opportunity to get hands free and get those offloads away. Bobby Colbert linking this time with Noah Byrne.
Stay on side, please.
Tom Brophy.
Sorry, mate.
Quigley just taking that extra bit of care with the ball dropping out of the sky. It's so difficult to predict where it's going to go. Nicely done by Sam Corrigan off the half charge line. Tidy things up for Michaels and gets them going again in the centre of the pitch. Maguire, this time he's hit by Jamie Shield on that tight head side for Gonzaga.
Play on.
No space at all for Quigley. He tries a couple of kicks at it. And it's going to be a Gonzaga penalty.
Very good defensive set from Gonzaga there. Dealt with the power game, and then obviously getting to Quigley's foot. He's the primary kicker for Michaels. Just when he fumbled that first off, he probably just needed to hold on to it. But you see here after the breakdown as well, getting in amongst it. And Michael Kennedy's the one I think who gets in and gets over that ball. But a little worrying for Michaels here. Their captain's got a little injury. James Sherwin, although Chris O'Connor, their sub-scrum half, came on and had a big impact this year, as he has done most of the year. Very powerful ball carrier, and they won't lose much if he has to enter the field this early.
7 in the side, was it? Over there. Yeah, he did enjoy it from the back.
Look on his face
I know it became a bit disintegrated, but he was clearly inside for me. Just the one thing to watch on your defensive line of breakdown. Just make sure they're the hindmost foot for me. Just work those pillars.
It's been frenetic. It's been very physical as we expected that it might be, and Gonzaga will be encouraged and energised by the fact that they've seen out the opening 10, 11 minutes under the pump inside the 22 without a concession of any score just yet. Two very strong benches, but as Bernard was saying, Chris O'Connor really impactful off the bench. He came into that quarter-final at an awkward time in the game where Michaels were under pressure, hit the ground running, and left the afternoon with a try. So let's hope that James Sherwin is okay. Meantime, Michaels have plenty of defending to do.
Yeah, he had a bit of sore hip after the quarter-final.
Good space.
Remember, we spoke to him in the post-match, and I wonder is it still lingering from there, but he's going to continue on at the moment, but he doesn't look 100% to be fair. Michael's using defending as the second last man out the back line. And Gonzaga, you'd imagine, will try and get to him early and just test him, but they've won the line out. Let's bounce back on the Gonzaga side.
Was their foot in touch on that far side now. Ball is still alive, and it's there for Michael Kennedy in the Gonzaga second row. Available again for Tom Brophy. What can they launch here? Oh, chip over the top is a really good one. It's all on the bounce, and it was aimed for O'Flanagan. He's knocked it forward. Was he tackled without the ball? There's a lot to unpack for Porrick Reedy there. It's going to be put into a St. Michael's scrum.
No, really smart attack from Gonzaga. Michael's like to fly off the line, and because it's quite fractured here, you just see the three players chasing after, and it's nearly a perfect bounce for him. But in fairness to Quigley, he's come across. But if Aidan O'Flanagan had caught that cleanly, that was no stopping him.
All right, time on. Not right now. Let's go, Doug. There's your mark, okay? Yeah, that's fine, yeah.
We've seen nice variety from Gonzaga. A little chip play there, the crossfield kick in the 22 to put the left winger Bobby Colbert away. Just asking different questions, and maybe that kicking game will be key today because it's so hard to keep the ball in hand.
Haven't called blind yet, lads, okay? Just stay with me on it, please. Nice and slow as we discussed.
We did meet in the quarterfinals a few seasons back in 2020 when St Michael's won handsomely, 34 points to 3 in a season that didn't see the Senior Cup completed. Quigley now from in his in-goal area.
Okay.
And there you see the effect and the strength of that breeze straight behind Michael's in this first half.
Yeah, it's a significant breeze, and the longer, I suppose, we go into the first half and Michael's haven't scored, the more Gonzaga will grow a little bit of confidence, the more pressure will build on Michael's. So having said that, they have the game to play into the wind as well with a strong forward pack and driving game.
There's another one.
Yeah, it's Walsh again. Just such a lottery trying to go further back in the line out. We saw Michaels lose one in the 22 and now Gonzaga have lost 2.
Two brilliant front rows on view today. Two classy hookers in Luke McLaughlin and Dewey Maguire, and we've seen Maguire carry significantly already. That's another Michaels penalty and potential for field position. Both hookers actually scoring 2 tries apiece in their respective quarterfinals.
Yeah, they're both incredibly good players. McLaughlin obviously was a key man last year in helping Gonzaga win the cup alongside his brother. And then for St Michael's, Dewey Maguire, really powerful, really explosive. He's back again, I think, next year.
Yeah.
It's a lovely throw.
That's really good to find Fraser McKenna. Maguire has it tucked up under that right hand.
That's once.
Now they go with Sherwin on their way to Charlie McConnell. Quigley, little step in off his left, just keeping that Gonzaga defence guessing, keeping them honest.
Good clear out for me. No hands.
Options left and right. They go to Quigley on the right hand side. Gavin O'Grady makes the tackle on Rian Coogan and gets some help from Jamie Shield. Walsh again.
Release 4 away.
Those kind of collisions will test any potential problems that he may have around that back injury now in open country and through the hands to David Lucy. Show and go. He had Pat Wood as the option outside and they've kept ball in hand into the 22. Prime field position from which to strike here with some of those big carriers in the forward pack. Little flash of what Michaels can do out the back as well, even in these conditions. Coogan takes it on. Sherwin, they come rumbling around the corner again. Dewey Maguire was there. O'Donoghue was available as well. Nice flashing pass across the front to McConnell again. Over the ball is Corrigan protecting. Quickly through the phase count here and quickly through the hands. Lovely play to half-release Joe Elliott. And this looks pretty ominous from a Gonzaga point of view, unless Gavin O'Grady can get his hands on it. He nearly did. Bit of space there. Drive for the line. Ethan Black gets the opening try of the semi-final. St Michael's crash in. Multi-phase inside the Gonzaga 22. It seemed inevitable. It was almost ominous. And St Michael's have the breakthrough.
Yeah, lovely variety from Michael's. In fairness, Gonzaga are meeting them on the gain line around the halfway line with those 1-out carries, but they put a really nice combination play together to get him away down the left-hand side. We just see it from here, and just a little dummy switch, and then lovely hands. And as Gonzaga come up and try and shut it down, Lucy gets the little half break. Brilliant cover tackle across from the second row Morgan Tyrrell, but from here it was just relentless from Michaels, just staying on top of them phase after phase. Lovely variety in terms of passing, and then they go across some forwards. Just see that, go across 3 forwards there, across the big man Coogan, who's normally a threat, and it's a great line by Ethan Black.
You can see the ball oscillating on the kicking tee. No help required for Quigley at this moment in time, nor does he need any readjustment of the radar. He just caresses it high over the posts.
Yeah, brilliant kick in these conditions. He's a superb footballer, and that'll just help settle St Michael's. But Gonzaga don't need to panic. They're doing plenty right, and as I said, that wind is, for me, it's a 14 and 15 point win, so just got to stay in this game.
That's a judge tie.
Just
a
above
quick
the
word
sternum,
from
it's a
Point
penalty
Reedy
only,
for
but you got to get a bit lower for
Michael
me, okay?
Kennedy on his opposite number,
That's
David
too
Walsh. He's
above
got to
the
get even
sternum,
a
okay?
little bit lower
Just
on
get
the
a bit
6'7"
lower, please.
second row.
It's just there. It's just a high tackle. I've had a word. Sorry, Mark.
But it's interesting, is it, with all their
high tackle,
power and physicality, that ultimately that field position and those phases came from that little break out the back between David Lucy. That option of Pat Wood, always so dangerous. Both sides, given the opportunity, can really light it up in the back line.
Yeah, I thought it was brilliant defence by Turl, because he could have easily missed the tackle on Lucy, or his winger JP Breslin could have been in, but he stayed out on Pat Wood, and they managed to deal with a threat. But obviously Michaels, having got that big gain line, just weren't going to be stopped, and eventually it was Ethan Black who got a try.
That's another good take for David Walsh.
Keep
an eye on his numbers, both in terms of steals and wins.
Watch the crossfield kick here. There's a massive space for Pat Wood, and
use that.
Gonzaga are very narrow.
Away.
If the ball comes out, have they got that shot? Charlie McConnell will take it on. He's in about 20 metres of space here.
Ball's right, Ben.
Fraser McKenna wanted it. Quigley taken on by Coogan. O'Donoghue is available, so too, as always, is Doohan McGuire. Such an amount of work he gets through.
He's not on the ball. He's not on the ball.
Sherwin through Quigley, just fainted to throw one inside and then threw it off the shoulder to the left-hand side, and they line up again. It's good speed about the Michaels attack, and Gonzaga having to defend one way then the next, time and time again. Pat Wood has given up that position on the left wing to go and look for work infield. Billy O'Donoghue takes it on, approaching the 20-minute mark, and Sherwin supplying Quigley once more, a little bit further depth out the back. It was good again from Charlie McConnell. He's having another really good opening to this game. Lovely step, and he's finding space. Coogan takes a more direct route. Tackle back by Michael Kennedy.
Yeah, Michaels are bouncing back left and right. Both wingers are working off the ball, just trying to create an overlap. We saw Pat Wood just taking a little inside pass from Quigley a second ago, and now he's back on his wing. But fairness to Gonzaga, they're mirroring really well and finding that bit of space and making their one-out tackles. And that's a turnover, you think? Yeah.
Brilliantly done, Michael Kennedy.
Well, he's the one who actually gave away the penalty, 2 or 3 minutes ago for the high tackle, and he gets that ball back. Hopefully he's not injured. He's got a big bang on the shoulder. Just see it here. It's his face here now. Again on Coogan.
No, that's a running clock.
From
I've got 15,
Charlie Kennedy.
14 minutes, 14 and a half.
And then Michael Kennedy gets in over the ball.
It's thereabouts. I've got an extra minute or two. Yeah. I'm okay, thanks.
It's been pretty much full throttle from the first whistle beyond the 20-minute mark. Barely time for these players to take on some fluids and regather their breath. Gavin O'Grady, let's hope he's okay. Great to see him involved today, having missed the previous couple of rounds through injury.
All right.
Certainly dominant in terms of possession and field position, St. Michael's, but just that solitary score, the 7-pointer. Try for Ethan Black converted by Joe Quigley.
Oh, sorry. Playing on?
One game away from a fourth senior final in 6 years. Gonzaga getting over the winning line in such dramatic fashion, 35 points to 31 in a 9-try bonanza at the RDS last year. St. Mary's against Blackrock to come tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah. Keep those boys on side for me,
An element of conservatism around the kick from Dara O'Dwyer, but it's sensible. You can't go for too much more than that into the teeth of this breeze.
Come in, please. On the mark, and in we come. In we come, please.
So is it a case of hit your man or keep it away from David Walsh? And one way to keep it away from him now is to throw it squint, but that's the pressure.
That's the pressure, yeah, because McLaughlin's a brilliant thrower, but it's obviously difficult to find space. Michaels are doing a good job of taking away the front from him, and it's very difficult to get that ball straight down to the back or avoid Walsh, who's been a real menace so far and doesn't show no signs of having a bad back anyway.
Which is good to see. You want all the marquee players involved. It's a short enough campaign in the cup with all the preparation that goes into it. Sherman now flat to the line again, bringing in that man, Charlie McConnell.
Good, positive elbow.
Good carry again by Sam Corrigan.
No lift.
So effective in that role. Quigley stays in field and they'll have to play it here. Bobby Colbert has to readjust and improvise. Quickly tracked back by Quigley. Now this could end up anywhere on the breeze. Needs a name on it, and that's good play.
Outside.
That's a really good kick.
Massive field position from that position from Dara O'Dwyer. I tell you what, the return's pretty good as well. Just doesn't find touch on that far side. Noah Byrne got his pass away before he was taken down by Rory Byrne. He was so impressive in round one against Castleknock on that open side flank for St Michael's. Brophy lines up his targets. Jamie Shield. Michael's got the decision. It's a big contest at the breakdown.
Yeah. Billy O'Donoghue's the one who gets just... Yeah, there's probably not a clear release there, and then hands on the... Yeah. His left hand's on the ground, but in fairness, Gonzaga need to be a little bit quicker just to deal with that threat. It doesn't really suit Gonzaga, that slow ruck ball. They're much better when they're playing quicker. And I know it's difficult, but it's really good counter-attack from Noah Byrne. They got him on the front foot. But now they need to try and get after this Michaels line out, which looked pretty good. There's another great ball from Walsh.
So straightforward, premium position off the top when you can hit a target like David Walsh. And there he is in open play as well. Beautiful little tip on from Quigley, and McConnell got his hands free. He did all the hard work to get beyond Bobby Colbert, just couldn't release the pass.
Yeah, it was a nice little trick play by Michaels. You see they hit up using a big number 8. Sam Corrigan, but then on the way back, you see that Gonzaga winger just bites in there. Quigley's able to get that ball away. Just for that split second, it looked like there was a really good chance for David Price to get in on the touchline.
Brilliant take by Morgan Tyrrell this time. Away comes McLaughlin.
Take him back.
Brophy back to Dara O'Dwyer again. Potential to run here for Michaels.
Always in, 50's on. Inside.
O'Dwyer has time, but he'll return that.
Yeah, okay, you're on now, yeah.
Towards Quigley, his half-back partner alongside him. Space just for a second over on this side. Now look at that for a kick. Look at that. Oh, that is absolutely magnificent.
Yeah, so that's the problem, kicking it down the middle with someone like Quigley, who has both feet, but his right foot in particular is a real rifle, and he just drills it in. And now Michaels have a 50-22. That's a really nice kick. I know he has to win, but he just drills it low on a right angle. Very difficult for Gonzaga in the backfield to cover that.
Well, just as he was gathering it, I looked to my left-hand side. I could see Bobby Colbert coming across. I thought he'd covered the ground, but he absolutely launched it low and hard.
Yeah, once you get the angle right on that slippy 4G surface, it's very difficult, even if you're in position to stop it.
So no contest in the air this time from Gonzaga. And can Michaels get set? Now you see McGuire has it. Rumbling closer towards this touchline. Now he breaks away and ball is loose.
Yeah, well defended by Gonzaga, in fairness.
Trust me.
But it's taken a lot of energy out of him, you feel. That forward pack, incredibly fit, but they're managing to splinter that Michaels maul, making players break out. Eventually it was Doom McGuire who just players away. See the way they're pulling bodies away, hitting in 2s and 3s, and then just there.
Okay, let's just. There's your mark. Can you come over a bit?
They actually just lodged the ball, and it's unfortunate. It was just knocked on as the big loose head was Sean Hennigan was trying to get it.
Interesting to see what they do here. They have so many options.
Fine. Set.
Charlie McConnell has been a good option. Little switch there. Corrigan now he has McConnell available on that short pass, and he carries 3 or 4 meters beyond the contact and sets it up again for the likes of Rian Coogan here. Sherwin waits. They recompose themselves, and that's Corrigan breaking for the line. He's been stopped a couple of feet short. So difficult for Gonzaga to defend this. If Michaels can keep their discipline and just keep reloading around the side, they reach for the line, but they recoil, not to be held up short. Still a foot short. So many big options in there. We saw David Ross score a hat-trick of tries from this exact position in the first round.
Offside.
Offside Gonzaga.
Yeah, well, surely Neville they're going to give an offside penalty there. Michaels had 3 or 4 goals. They must be just inches with every time you saw them recoiling. And yeah, that's a win for Michaels, or for Gonzaga here, just to give away 3 points.
Hands on the ground, Luke.
But also you can see exactly why Michaels want to just add to the scoreboard, make it a 2-score game. But such committed defence here, just chopping around the ankle, second man in over the ball.
I'm okay, thank you.
They're really putting their bodies on the line.
Quick and easy for Joe Quigley, no mistake whatsoever. And in terms of field position and the territorial dominance they've had, that's probably a wise decision just to keep it ticking.
Yeah, especially because Gonzaga are so dangerous from deep with so many really good broken field runners. You want to have that little buffer, and now they have it.
6.
But they definitely, I think, desperately trying to get another score before half-time and take real advantage of this very strong win that they have in their favour.
14 minutes since their last score, which is in itself a huge credit to Gonzaga.
Here's the 9. No.
Long it goes from Sherwin. O'Dwyer available, gets it from his fullback, and he decides just to pump it up in the sky, and it might come back towards him. Tom Brophy's hit hard in the tackle. And that wasn't easy to take. Ripped clear, and then picked up by Hennigan, but it's going forward.
Yeah, good work in the tackle there.
Boys, hey.
Really good take from a very difficult position from Tom Brophy. Big hit from Quigley. We're just trying to reset here. It's that strip from Coogan.
Okay. Yeah.
He's been so impressive with ball in hand, but he's getting through a lot of defensive work as well.
Okay, here we are, left and left. Yeah, perfect. Stay there now.
It's just a further nod to the difficulty of the conditions. If you make that wrong decision, decide to kick the ball up in the air and it comes back to you, it's always going to be tough to recover the position.
And Darragh Dwyer is a massive boot, and he's kicked incredibly well, but just shows you there. It's obviously even picked up from where it was 10 minutes ago. That's a good kick.
Back.
Really good chase from Pat Wood. Oh, the bobbling, bouncing ball is so tricky.
22.
No option really whatsoever.
Really good kick. Obviously, the big reward is that ball goes into touch and you get after the line out, but even from here,
4 minutes.
It's going to be so hard for Gonzaga to get past the 10-metre line, and Michaels, I'm sure, have a play up their sleeve.
In your own time, 10,
from a goal line drop out.
Stay on side, lads.
No surprise to see Darragh Dwyer kicking a little bit lower. He doesn't quite make the 10-metre line. Joe Elliott then is off at a rate of knots. That's a brilliant tackle. Super hit. Perfect technique to bring down Big Joe Elliott. He's a super back rower. He was met squarely on the gain line there. They go again with Sherwin. looking to fire those big ball carriers. Walsh hits the line at Pearson. Sherwin again to Quigley to the front, and Coogan stopped by Masterson. It's absolutely blowing a gale around Donnybrook now, and Michaels have a penalty in front of the posts. A little bit to the right hand side. What have we got? 3 minutes or a little bit more than that to half time?
No, it's just a bit, 3 minutes for me there, okay? Slowing the ball down.
Another good carry from Coogan, isn't it? And just there, the problem isn't the jackler, it's just the tackler hasn't been able to get away. McLaughlin got trapped in there.
Wrong, yeah, I got 240.
240.
Just a little bit of extra.
Yes, lovely strike. No mistake whatsoever from Joe Quigley. 13 points to 0. 9 embers of the first half. It's a lead. It's a sizable lead. It's a considerable lead. Is it enough of a lead in these conditions? And is that how it's going to stay to half-time? David Walsh feels maybe St. Michael's aren't finished just yet. Time for one further attack potentially. Kick chase off Sherwin's box kick. Now half an opportunity for Gonzaga. We've seen so little of them in attack. The referee has seen that as high on Pat Wood.
I'm 11.
We just want a little word with the
We've had 2
Michael's
against
winger
them
here
for
and
above
the
the
captain.
sternum. For me, it's just a penalty, okay? You need to be very careful. Keep the tackles down, please. Penalty against you.
Yeah, I think no more than a penalty, to be fair. Really good read by Pat Wood. Spots the dangers, willing to leave the Gonzaga extra attacker on the outside, just come in and shut down the ball.
Aidan O'Flanagan is the player who's receiving treatment following that collision. It was his try against Belvedere College that set up the opportunity for Dara O'Dwyer to notch the conversion that gets Gonzaga to the semi-final. It's difficult on that angle to see where the initial contact is. It's straight behind angle, looks as though it might have been a little bit more than that, but the referee was perfectly positioned. A little over 30 seconds or
so
thereabouts.
one last chance for Gonzaga to get a score. What a boost it would be if they could get something, having pretty much defended for most of the first half.
I was going to say, if they go in like this and they turn around and Michaels get the first score of the second half, it's a massive psychological shift.
Yeah, I think it's a 14 or 15 point win, so they're certainly right in this game. Although having said that, I think their game was actually more suited to running against the wind and being able to keep ball in hand. Obviously they'll have a lot more field position, you would think.
No, they've done the difficult part, which is secure possession. We know how fluid they are with ball in hand in an attack. If they can get it into those wider channels, good carry initially by Masterson. They'll have to earn the right to go wide with a couple of phases up front with the likes of Morgan Tyrrell, and beautiful little line back inside to Noah Byrne, on they go to Jamie Shield. Clocks in the red at Donnybrook, and they're 13 points in arrears. Gonzaga with a gilt-edged opportunity, one of their only salvos into Michael's 22. In the opening 35 minutes across the face. Darrell O'Dwyer had 2 to his right, and maybe he was in 2 minds, and it breaks down and it goes into touch.
Yeah, but shot fired, just shows you what Gonzaga can do with a little bit of possession. Masterson, massive carry from him, back on the inside to the full-back Noah Byrne. He gets over the gain line, and then he brings his big playing prop Jamie Shield into it, and just at the end here, just breaks down for them when they're just about to pull the trigger. It's another good carry from Masterson as well. And, you know, when they have a little bit more field position, we kind of get one more shot. Oh, great take.
Superb too. He's a brilliant athlete.
And we were in Cork on Friday night. R.G. Snyman put on a display of one-handed catches, big carries, offloads. David Walsh is having a massive impact in this game.
Yeah, it certainly is. So it's all set up really, really nicely for the second half, despite what looks on the scoreboard a comfortable lead for St Michael's. There's nothing comfortable in these conditions, but it is Michael's who will turn around, leading the defending champions Gonzaga by 13 points to 0 at half-time at Energia Park.
Yeah.
Welcome back. So it's Michael's who have the upper hand at half-time in the first of the Leinster Schools Senior Cup semi-finals. Don't forget, tomorrow afternoon, same time, 2:45, we're live on Premier Sports with Blackrock against St Mary's. Hopefully the conditions tomorrow afternoon will be a little bit more conducive to running rugby, but it's been good fare in the opening 35 minutes here, and Michael's good value with the benefit of that huge win behind them for their 13-point advantage. The opening try arrived in the 16th minute, courtesy of Ethan Black, but it was some smart build-up play in that Michael's backline. The first time really we'd seen them go wide. David Lucy, such an elusive runner, and he was to the fore. A couple of phases thereafter, well, maybe a little bit more than a few phases. Ultimately it was Ethan Black who barged his way over. Joe Quigley, every time he was asked, and often when he had the option to turn down 5 or 7, he went for 3, perhaps wisely, kicked a couple of nice penalties, and we didn't really see Gonzaga as an attacking force until the last couple of minutes of that first half, but they certainly showed what they're capable of. Really nice backline move, and on another day they might have got over for 5 or 7 here, which really would have changed the complexion of the half-time scorecard, but past ultimately just didn't go to hand for Dara O'Dwyer. But as Bernard was mentioning just before half-time, if Gonzaga can come out, you said maybe it's a 15-point win, it's hard to quantify. It's crucial, I think, that they get the first score of the second half, and that'll really test Michael's mettle.
Yeah, well, and look, at Michael's have been really clinical, I think, in what they've done. They've kicked really smartly, put pressure on Gonzaga, been really effective in terms of their carries and recycling game, good line out, set piece, and have built a nice lead. 13-0 is a good lead in a cup semi-final, but you know, I think just at the end there you saw from Gonzaga the threat they are if they're in the right area of the field, and they also, you know, they haven't really been able to have enough balls. Some of their lineouts haven't gone to plan, so they've been started with a little bit of possession. But if that flips in the second half, you know, they will ask questions this Michael's defence, and you know, they've got some serious firepower in their back line, and this game isn't over yet. But I agree with you, if Michaels can get that first score, I think it's going to be difficult for Gonzaga to get back into this game.
Even as they are the masters of the comeback this season, Gonzaga, they've had a few huge comebacks. In the league final they were down and out, dead and buried against Newbridge College. They found a way to come back and win it. These two sides, actually, Gonzaga and St Michael's, met earlier in the season in a friendly, and Michael's seemed to be a long way clear. Gonzaga came back to win it with the last play of the game. And as we know from the quarter-final, we've mentioned time and again, 34 points to 33 against Belvedere College in the quarter-finals. Gonzaga, having led for much of the game, fell behind, conceding 2 tries in quick succession to be 6 points down with 3 minutes of injury time played, and they came up massively with a 7-pointer. Aidan O'Flanagan with a try, and Dara O'Dwyer holding his nerve to kick the match-winning conversion. The atmosphere, and the singing and the noise is unrelenting despite the conditions. They've come for a good day out, and it's been pretty good despite the conditions so far, as we expected it would be. So much quality on show. We're expecting more tomorrow as well from Blackrock and St Mary's. No surprise really that the two teams are wisely staying in the warmth and the dry of the dressing room for a minute or two longer.
Yeah, they'll stay as long as they can, although the Michael subs are starting to come out now, and Gonzaga just getting those final messages from their coaches. It'll be really interesting how both teams adapt, whether Michaels can use Quigley's kicking game and Sherwood's kicking game against that wind, or do they run kick, play a little bit wider. We've seen David Lucy's ability to put the ball on the toe accurately in his competition as well.
Certainly that 50-22 from Joe Quigley, one of the highlights of the opening half. It'll be a lot more favourable for Dara O'Dwyer with the aid of that breeze behind him. He's a lovely kicking game as well. So it's the champions who are the first to re-emerge from the dressing rooms at half-time, turning around into a 13-point deficit, but with the aid of the conditions. Michael's not too far behind. Patrick Masterson heavily involved in that attacking salvo right at the end of the half for Gonzaga, the number 12. Haven't seen too much of Aidan O'Flanagan in terms of his attacking ability, but he's a lovely balanced player as well.
Yeah, O'Flanagan's going to be a key man, I think, in the second half. He has been starved of possession, but we know he can break the gain line. 4 quality centres out there with Masterson and Flanagan for Gonzaga, and McConnell and Black for Michaels. Just Gonzaga just need to have a little bit more ball.
Alright, just give us a second, okay?
The first 5 or 10 minutes here feel very important for both sides, but we know what the history of Schools Cup, and we know even going back 2 weeks to Belvedere against Gonzaga, they have a tendency to go right to the wire. The second half of the first of the semi-finals is underway. Tipped forward off the hand, but an early opportunity here for Price, and off he goes. Massive hit coming in from Noah Byrne.
Wow, that's a huge hit because Price is electric. Unfortunate for Gonzaga, they were putting big pressure on that kickoff, and You saw Bobby Colbert just reaching for it. Once Price breaks away here, you're just worried for Gonzaga. But it's an amazing tackle from Noah Byrne. Comes in, gets man and ball, and dislodges that.
Super hit.
Crouch. Bind.
So the first scrum of the second half, and they put in for Tom Brophy.
Stay on.
Experienced player, knows the big game temperament, having started the final against Blackrock last year at the RDS. No surprise to see them put pressure on the Michaels back three under the high ball, but that was lovely take.
Yeah, because in fairness, a smart strategy. If he drops that, if a scrum further up the field, but they know they're going to get a line out further up from where the scrum was because of that wind, and so many Gonzaga's strike plays are based around line out attack. It's just, can they get that possession at source here, because they've struggled to get past McKenna and his big second row partner David Walsh over the 5-man.
Yeah, it was that straight, really awkward, but McLaughlin's done well and taken at the tail, which is prime ball for Gonzaga now. Back it comes to Brophy, and then it's an unsympathetic pass. Really no opportunity there for Morgan Tyrrell.
Advantage over.
Quigley under massive pressure. He's absolutely thumped that, and it's only made about 15 metres. The bounce sits up now for Fraser McKenna.
No,
Michaels deep inside Gonzaga territory, and in they go with Doohan Maguire. Quigley out the back they go to McConnell again, and flipped into Price a long way in off that right hand wing. O'Donoghue wants it, takes it low and drives the legs. Quigley once more.
Sorry, Luke.
Yeah, it was so hard to get their handling right. We've just seen a couple of knock-ons there as the conditions even worsen, but that's a great kick from Quigley. Gets a great bounce. In fairness, super support from McKenna, and you just feel from here, I think they should fill out the back there. Gonzaga are very narrow defensively, but take one more carry, then they go and try and get a full back reload. Gonzaga deal with this pretty well, to be fair. Make that secondary tackle on Price, and you get a second row, Morgan Tyrrell. Huge work rate from both second rows from Gonzaga. Tyrrell and Michael Kennedy, really lively.
Controlled by Charlie Kennedy.
Stop, good.
It's huge height. That's disappeared out of our vision, way above the stand, and the foot control has bounced into a Gonzaga hand. Brophy again just had to check his opportunities. Aidan O'Flanagan.
No.
Michael's player over the ball doesn't quite get onto it through the hands of O'Dwyer, but it didn't go forward crucially, so it's okay for Kennedy. There is that high work rate, the availability all the while of Morgan Tyrrell. The partner was mentioning. O'Dwyer takes one over the top. Beautiful, measured for Colbert. Beaten by the pitch, but he's able to bring in JP Breslin. Two Gonzaga wingers side by side, awaiting that little dink over the top. Scrap forward over, Michaels win it.
Yeah, the number 8 there, Sam Corrigan, I think, is the one who gets over when Michaels were on the back foot. Lovely crossfield kick here. You see how narrow Michaels are defensively. Sherwin at the end of the line, and just he's just trying to go back on the outside. Really unlucky for Gonzaga there. But they're asking lots of questions as Michaels' defence.
Yeah, he probably feels on a dry day on a better pitch than that. Bobby Colbert might have been away there.
9, 2 metres. Let me go quickly. Are you in or out?
Not yet. Played
In you go.
5 minutes in the second half, and it's a similar pattern to the first. Team with the wind
In the 5.
in the ascendancy in terms of field position and pressure. Took St. Michael 16 minutes to break the line against Gonzaga in the first half. Doohan Maguire still in control, still in possession. Tackled by Jamie Shield.
Stay on, please.
Good defence by Gonzaga. Again, ripping players out of the maul.
Sherwin gets it into Quigley. Ball again this time to Ethan Black, the try scorer.
Taken behind the rock.
Yeah, just referee picks up David Lucy there, just taking a player past the breakdown. That's a good kick. He's gone quickly.
Kick the mark, just beyond the 10.
No.
Just didn't get the angle.
Sorry lads, time's off, it's an injury.
Just offering his apologies to his captain Luke McLaughlin there, but
Scrum is
the
there.
right idea just denied by the execution, and maybe the strength of the breeze as well, as a couple of players who require some attendance before the scrum gets underway.
Yeah, it's been very physical, hasn't it? Probably the conditions have actually made it tighter than
Okay.
both teams want. Certainly I'd say Gonzaga want, and it's been a lot of big hits.
Come on lads, there's no injury, off we go.
Tom McKeown with some words of advice for his Gonzaga players.
Okay, here we are lads, scrum here.
Cheers.
A long way to go in this game. A lot of time for Gonzaga to eat into the arrears of 13 points from the opening half.
Crunch! Fine! Set! Stay on.
Sherwin waits. Quigley this side. McConnell outside him.
Touched off 10 here.
And he's controlled things really well,
Yeah,
really smartly.
Quigley feels he was touched. It was touched, so
Okay.
even better result. Even if it's not touched, it's a Gonzaga line out. That's a really smart play from Quigley, just drilling it down in behind, and then under so much pressure on their own line out ball. But now it's Michael's throw.
Eyes open, Sam, red zone, eyes open.
It goes without saying in these conditions that kind of field position is of such high value. Maguire poised and primed, and nobody in front of him now.
Tackle now, roll away, Green!
And he's got fully 15 metres there, breaking ranks, eating up the ground.
Outside, Green!
So powerful, so dynamic. There's 3 or 4 like him in that St. Michael's pack as well. And this is where they're so dangerous. Coming around the corner at pace and asking lots of questions from lots of different angles here. 43rd minute of the game.
High most, Green, high most! No
They've had to work hard to get into this field position from Quigley's kick and off the line out.
Stay up,
Can they make it pay here?
Short!
Coogan was very close. We've seen Michaels already in the opening 2 rounds of this competition score multiple tries from this kind of range. Referees poised. Now, did they lose that?
No, again, it's amazing defence from Gonzaga. Once Michaels broke away from that line-out ball with Doon Maguire, you felt it was inevitable. But once again, they've thwarted him, but for how long? You'd imagine Michaels would go for a quick tap here.
Option.
Try and put this game to bed.
Okay. Outside!
Doon Maguire is ready to lead the charge at that Gonzaga line. He's met really well by Luke McLaughlin. 1 or 2 of his pals in there as well. Big moments in the game. Drive for the line and they'll get there. Michaels have the first try in the second half, a really crucial try. And they just barge and burrow and find their way over. And it's that man, Rian Coogan.
Yeah, and you felt it was inevitable really, because they don't give you a second chance. Milk the penalty the first time, and then from there it was a really good hit, as you said, from McLaughlin, but just for once Gonzaga run out of numbers and just don't get their body position right. And you feel once Michaels get the right people carrying the ball there, they're always going to score, and they did that time.
Give me a second. On his clock, he's got about 40 seconds.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I was surprised Michaels hadn't asked for someone to come up. And
you've got 20 seconds now.
20 seconds left now.
No, he's got 20 seconds.
Just with the wind as bad as it is.
Pressure, time pressure, kick pressure. And it's
So
going to be on the whistle.
2 seconds.
Well, he wasn't too far away at the end of all that, but it remains an 18-point game. No extras from the tee. They'll go to school on that quickly. We'll have somebody put their finger on it from here on in, but here's the try again.
Yeah, that was the fear, that maul threat. Gonzaga defends the maul really well, but just that one maul just gave Michaels that field position, and from there they were relentless.
Okay, come on.
Michael supporters away to our right-hand side in buoyant voice at the moment. Now, did he keep that up off the deck?
I think he did.
Cut the ball for me.
Brilliant by Corrigan.
He's had a couple of bites at it, maybe 3. I think he did just keep it alive. Quigley. Is that just about going to go out? Yeah, let's have a look at this dexterity handling skills from Corrigan.
Good decision with the referee. Would have been easy to give the knock on there, but I think Corrigan did catch it before it hit the ground.
No.
Gonzaga the massive comeback, but you really feel it had to score pretty soon just to get a little bit of doubt in it. Lineup's not really secure, but they end up with the ball.
And it's in the hands of Michael Kennedy, our second row.
Stay back.
Brophy waits, and so too the likes of Morgan Tyrrell. Thumping hit.
Take him down safely.
Doing Maguire's got to get him back to ground safely, which he does, and the ball available for the Gonzaga scrum half again. Maguire again elects to kick in behind. Tidied up by Lucy. It could go anywhere, and it falls into the hands of Noah Byrne. Now, is there space on the outside? Michaels get across and fill the field pretty effectively, pretty quickly, knowing the threat. Huge numbers to the left, all the way out to McLaughlin. He's forced back inside. Maybe just rushing things a fraction, Gonzaga, if they'd gone through their hands to exploit that numbers advantage. They know the importance of the next score. Oh, a little bit isolated. There was a chance of a turnover. The decision goes the other way, and they're off quickly again. Brophy, now he needs support.
Ball's raised.
Big tackle again, this time on Colbert.
No. Ball's available, there's no advantage.
Frantic attack from Gonzaga again, and can they manufacture a way back into the game? McLaughlin, few better to take the fight to the opposition than the Gonzaga captain, and look where they find themselves in terms of field position. Options left and right, all stacked to the right hand side, and that's where they go with O'Dwyer. On to Charlie Kennedy. Brophy once more. O'Dwyer in behind to the fullback, and then shipped wide, and then a two-man tackle and touch beckons. Can they keep in field? Gonzaga keep it alive, not dead yet, still deep inside the 22. Shield takes it on. Numbers arrive in time. O'Dwyer flat to his captain again. McLaughlin uses his footwork under pressure from Rory Brown. Dara O'Dwyer with O'Flanagan. Good read from Charlie McConnell. Good early hit, and that brings the turnover. Brilliantly done.
Brilliant by Quigley. He made a massive hit on the left-hand side there as Gonzaga tried to get down the right wing with Breslin, and he comes all the way back across. Just see here, just that ball goes out the back. Double tackle. Great hit by Charlie McConnell, but then Quigley's the one who gets in over the ball, and
number 9, is it? 9?
Big turnover. Great defence, in fairness. The scramble from Michaels is really impressive. The work rate to fill the field. Now to make a change, Chris O'Connor coming on. I don't think Sherwin's been moving well since that first injury he got. But he's had a big game. I think he leaves feeling pretty comfortable that they've done enough. But
and there was one, I think he wasn't the first man, so. Number 11.
So Chris O'Connor is in, 11. And we know from a couple of weeks ago in the quarter-final all about his game. And let's hope that James Sherwin is okay. Certainly Joe Quigley rather has been to the fore in this game. Sure, his physicality, his versatility there. Brilliant combination with Charlie McConnell to turn over that ball. And every turnover, even though they might only make 20 yards down the field, it comes with a huge tariff. It's so hard for Gonzaga to get back into position. There's going to be a change on the Gonzaga side of things, I think. Yeah, Gavin O'Grady is going off, coming back into the side today, perhaps carrying a little bit of an injury. Was receiving attention a few moments ago. Milo Doherty comes in. It's a little bit of a slice. He shipped a couple of barns today, but he's a hardy player, Joe Quigley.
1 out, yeah.
So David Walsh once again the target.
He's broken away.
He's so influential in the game, Doing McGuire. He really is. He's all over the park. O'Connor gets it away to Fraser McKenna.
Use it, 9!
Huge height on that
Knock
kick.
on off Green.
Forward off Zach Mulligan, I think it was, and Walsh tidying up. Good little spell this for St Michael's, retaining possession pretty comfortably and looking confident.
Ball is still in, don't go in there. Stay, stay. Take it back in.
Scrum half, and back goes to his fullback, David Lucy.
Yeah, good pressure from Masters in there. He could sense that Lucy was ready to kick it and just got up into his eye line. They haven't managed to get the ball back.
Yeah, I'll move.
Michael's starting to build a few phases now.
Everybody's low there. Onside.
David Walsh hugely prominent at line-out time. Fraser McKenna's had a good game all around. Tricky one for O'Dwyer. He's got to think on his feet here.
Green, keep going.
Yeah, he did well there, but a great kick from Quigley against the wind, just pinning them back. Risking kicking out a full, but he trusts himself and puts Gonzaga full or out half to O'Dwyer in a really tricky position. Just see it here. That's a difficult kick against the wind. Just finds grass in behind.
I've got 20 on my clock. 10.
That's allowed stoppage.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
20 minutes to go. You can probably hear on the referee's mic. There is time. There's always time. These games can change so quickly. Momentum is massive in schools rugby. But Michael certainly with a stranglehold on things at the moment as it stands.
I think you might have dropped that from your bag.
Might have to be another enforced change here from Gonzaga. Seemed to be the communication towards the sidelines. We will wait and see. I think maybe they are ready to bring in Walter McMahon, so it's going to be a Jamie Shield, I think, end of his game.
He's an excellent player, Jamie Shield. He's had a really good cup campaign. Unfortunately, not able to continue.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Still supporting.
Just let him walk over.
There's the man in his place. Walter McMahon ready to take his place.
Fellas, you're going to be on the line.
The ensuing line-out from Doing McGuire.
Yeah, and that's a good gap for me. Just wait for this player to go.
Well, we said a couple of weeks ago in that quarter-final match that it was the mark of champions, how they held their resolve and their nerve to manufacture and carve out one final chance when it looked like the game against Belvedere had gone away from them. It's very unlikely that this Gonzaga side will leave today without firing a real shot.
One stop.
At the moment, St Michael's are managing the game and the conditions extremely well.
Pause available. Use it.
Well, they have the tools to do it, Connor. It's just, you know, the set piece has been excellent. And then when they play away from the ball, and made a little mistake there, but Charlie McConnell is such a willing ball carrier, giving them targets.
No, where is that going? Oh, it has to be watched all the way back there by Quigley. You
What a bounce.
couldn't have imagined that ball would stay in play either side of the corner flag.
Over the line at 50-22?
Yes.
50-22.
It's a 50-22.
Wow. Just in with
Just hang on for a second.
50-22, he's giving the goal line dropper now, is he?
Cheers, Matt.
Okay, maybe just
You're right, you're right.
You got the wrong, used the wrong words, I think, but what a bounce. Well, Marshall, like Quigley, to be fair. You feel Gonzaga needs something like that. They need to get a real break in play just to get them into this game.
Now that they carry, Kennedy brings it forward. Heenan was available, and look, the conditions blow. It's equally difficult for both sides. The wind is a massive advantage, of course, but it's still just difficult for the rudimentary basics of the game.
Yeah, and look, in fairness to Gonzaga, they're trying to play more width now. Look at with that ball, just wind completely takes it. They do have to take a few risks.
Tap back on the Gonzaga side into the hands of Charlie Kennedy. Ed McLaughlin, by the way, has come in for St. Michael's meantime for Billy O'Donoghue. Quigley under the kick from his opposite number. He's been absolutely rock solid.
Stay.
O'Connor into the aforementioned Ed McLaughlin.
Stay on the side, please. Hindmost foot, please. And 9 years it, please. Stay on.
And this is where they're dictating terms, just eating up vital seconds.
Backwards, clearly. Stay. Stop,
Touched in flight, and I'm sure that was touched. Let's see if it's a Gonzaga ball. No, it's going to be Michaels.
Yeah, and it's difficult for Gonzaga because of the conditions, they're forced to pump those high balls into the backfield and hope they get a little bit of change out. But to be fair to Michaels, whether it's been Quigley or Lucy or Price or Pat Wood, they've been so secure under those high balls. And
change it from half, ball not straight. James O'Dwyer is in for Tom Brophy on the Gonzaga side.
yeah, I like Dwyer. He's a very good nine, and it's a difficult issue for nines, but probably just want to get some fresh legs on there, try and quicken the game up a little bit. And that's one of the first ones that's gone astray for Doon McGuire. Thrown really well in the conditions.
Okay, somebody stop. Sorry, lads, we've got a cramp here.
What can he say to his side, Luke McLaughlin, now to find something? A little bit of attention now from Michael Kennedy before we get back underway. Second row's taking a bang. St. Michael's beaten narrowly in the semi-final by Blackrock last year, beaten in the first round of the season. Before that, as I mentioned, haven't been to a St. Patrick's weekend final since 2019 when last they won it against today's opponents Gonzaga. So massive afternoon for them to get back to the showpiece and show what they can do and seek out that fourth title. Certainly not the time to be counting chickens or thinking ahead. No complacency from Michael's point of view. They know that it's highly likely they'll face something from Gonzaga. If they can find a score, the momentum that would bring. They've defended heroically so far. Again, it's the kick option. This time it works out potentially better for Noah Byrne. He's hit hard again in the tackle, as he knew he would be. Masterson there to protect. Handling conditions so difficult for this high tariff kind of backline game that Gonzaga thrive on. Charlie Kennedy's a really good game back at number 8, having played on the flank in the quarter final. Gonzaga will get the penalty.
Second bite. Hands in the rock.
Lovely kick over the top from Darrow Dwyer there. No burn a danger man on it. They get a chance to go to the corner. In fairness to Gonzaga, they've thrown everything they can. I'd say Michael's just lovely, delicate chip, and the timing on it, but great tackle from Lucy coming across.
So McLaughlin, lots of movement. It's so tricky in there through the hands of Morgan Tyrrell, and you've got to make those stick. I know it's easy to say from up here. You're almost at the point of thinking where when you're in penalty position, lineouts, it's not as good a guarantee of an option as you might have thought. That's going forward off JP Breslin, and just nothing at the moment is going Gonzaga's way.
Yeah, just ball not cleanly caught in the line out, and they've gone to the corner, and then it's a mistake in the backfield. Desperate for them. Yeah. But you're right, probably. I think maybe a scrum or a quick tap, given how their line out struggled today, might be a better option.
They've had the field position, they've had opportunities, but they haven't yet opened up this Michael's rear guard. It's been a brilliant defensive effort. We're beginning to see again just how hard Michael's had to work for that 13-point halftime advantage, and how crucial ultimately it looks as though that Rian Coogan try on 44 minutes will prove the first score and only score thus far of the second half. Charlie McConnell, again, he's worked so hard. He's such a powerful player. Nicely done again by Corrigan. O'Connor showing his footwork. Looks a dangerous player on the snipe in situations like that. That man again, tireless from the back row. Corrigan's been brilliant. Quigley swallowed up in traffic. Michael Kennedy first out of the line for Gonzaga.
Onside, please.
Now this will pretty much do for Michaels as well. Anything that eats up those precious vital seconds will help.
Yeah, they're in the right area of the field, and they had possession there, but you saw O'Connor, he's really good against tired bodies, just wanting to threaten around the fringes, and just nearly got away. It took an outstretched arm, I think, that held on to him.
12.
And this is the error in the end, just trying to pick and go through the middle. It was on, to be fair, from the big lock McKenna. Another little injury now. Just this will be very frustrating for Gonzaga, just taking the sting out of the game. It's their own player down getting treatment, but they don't want to be up in their own half here.
He's been super the last two games, coming into the side due to an injury.
Okay.
Charlie McConnell. And I said to Andy Skeen before the last game, tell me how that affects your side. And he said, well, with respect to the player who's missing, Andrew Cosgrave, not that much, because Charlie O'Connell is so good and they have real depth in a lot of the positions.
Yeah, they have, because Cosgrave is a super player himself, but McConnell over the last two games in particular has really put his hand up and shown the quality he has.
Mark Heron in 2019, the last St Michael's College captain to get his hands on the trophy. In the ascendancy in the scrum, but they can't maintain the push, so away goes Noah Byrne with the kick downfield. Lucy spots a little bit of space, didn't get enough purchase on the kick, but it sits up beautifully for him. Can he get his offload away? Not quite is the answer.
So unlucky. Lovely little deft chip. You see here, does really well to catch it in the first place. Then he's looking where the space is. It's very hard to kick it along. It's a little chip over the top. First, he gets lucky with the bounce. But just as he's trying to link with Pat Wood, the danger man, as that ball goes to ground, just not enough power in that pass.
And at the moment, it's a little bit more than hope. It's turning into expectation for those Michael supporters that they will be up the road at the RDS on St. Patrick's Day. O'Flanagan hasn't had anywhere near the amount of ball in hand as he would have liked today.
Hold it front, 21,
O'Dwyer.
stop. Good.
In behind Lucy, and again the bounce just hasn't worked out for Gonzaga.
Dead ball.
Yeah, it's difficult for him.
Come back.
They have to try and find space in that backfield just because that blue wall of Michael's defence is so strong and so difficult, nearly liability having the ball in hand. But just when they've gone for the big plays, they just got nasty bounces. And
What's happening? Okay, time off.
Michael's dictating turns and dictating tempo. A little bit of treatment now for Joe Quigley.
About 11 minutes. Just under 11, about 10, sorry.
yeah, you'd imagine that
What do we?
Andy Skeen, his coaching staff, will unload the bench again here now.
We've had laces on both sides, to be fair. You're not losing time. You're not losing time. About 10 minutes. Yeah, that
Get the likes of David
running
Walsh off,
fast,
maybe Quigley off.
Clock.
Change of footwear on this near side for David Lucy, the fullback.
Okay. Time on.
Hugely important player, as is Joe Quigley, of course, to Michael's wider aspirations of winning this trophy for a fourth time. He's been so influential today. He's shown the full repertoire of skills, ball in hand, kicking, and 3 or 4 brilliant tackles.
Okay, lads, let me go. We have it. Coach!
10 minutes or thereabouts for Gonzaga College to fight to retain the title for a couple of weeks at least.
Inside the half and touch play.
Quigley's kick. Again, the tackles keep coming. Not Michael's back row. And the balance over that we spoke about. Joe Elliott again up with a big hit and then a 2-man tackle.
Onside now. Taken back.
Everything that Dara O'Dwyer has done today has been under pressure. He's had to do it quickly and on the hoof at times.
Backwards by Green, play.
Such is the pressure. Mulligan did well. O'Dwyer flat to the line, but they're reading those calls and those passes, coming up with big tackles. O'Dwyer again to the boot, and again it's a little bit of a lottery, isn't it, on the bounce and on the wind.
Yeah, just dies on him. Really well covered by Pat Wood, and now Michaels are on the attack.
Walsh gets it away to McLaughlin. Quigley, a little disguise on the kick that time. O'Dwyer has to be quick and clever.
Yeah.
Oh, just left behind by Lucy, and he's knocked it forward.
Yeah, it's the first probably error he's made. But you said every time Gonzaga looked to kick, there's big pressure on him. Joe Elliott's got through a mountain of work, the big back row from St. Michael's, and when they have gone to the crossfield kick, the ball has just kind of died on him. It's very frustrating for Gonzaga because these conditions don't suit their overall game at all.
Watch us off.
Their team are all about playing with wit.
Okay, time on. Here we are.
He's been excellent today. Sam Corrigan too. Fraser McKenna. They've all shown up. Work rate is relentless for Michaels. Lost to Gonzaga earlier in the season. That was a big comeback from Gonzaga. They won it with the last play of the game. It's going to take quite something from here. 6 or 7 minutes or thereabouts. James O'Dwyer looking to try and set them up and put them in position. O'Dwyer, this time he keeps ball in hand. O'Dwyer, quick pass,
okay.
Over the top it goes. And there's the pressure again from Blackrock, just disrupting, making life really difficult, turning Gonzaga around. And they're having to fight off the ropes here, and they're being met jab after jab by Michaels, forcing them back. James O'Dwyer to Dara O'Dwyer, and they're having to force it now, and why wouldn't they? And it doesn't go to hand for O'Flanagan.
Yeah, that's very hard because they're playing really flat to the gain line.
Two knock-ons, first and
But Michaels are right in place as well. You see Dara O'Dwyer just trying to unlock that. This next carry, it's a good carry here, so you want to play on the front foot. You see here, good pass, just there, just drifts across the face of Aidan O'Flanagan as he's trying to pick his line. And then Miles Berman coming on here for Walsh, who's been outstanding.
Let's go, please.
A huge ovation for the departing David Walsh. They'll be delighted that he's got through 65 minutes, and how important he was, showing all his athletic prowess at line-out time, winning ball, stealing ball, and carrying around the park. He's linked up brilliantly today in that second row. Fraser McKenna's had a huge game. Away goes O'Connor. He's been testing that defence all afternoon, and here it is. St Michael's ticket to the final for the first time since 2019.
Yeah, you only need half a chance, and it was off the back of a really good scrum. Gonzaga trying to defend both sides here. You see the threat from Michaels out the back, and that just opens up half a chance for O'Connor, and then just rounds the fullback. That takes some doing because Noel Byrne is really quick. Lovely show and go there. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's the kind of impact you want off the bench.
2 tries in 2 games, big impact off the bench. We spoke about the 23-man game. He's a stylish player, Chris O'Connor. Always looking for that half gap, that opportunity.
I've got 5 minutes on my clock.
It's been a really impressive second half performance from this St Michael's side, the way they've been able to keep Gonzaga at arm's length and then some. Sounded good, looked good, it is good, it's brilliant. Michael's day.
Yeah, brilliant kick from Quigley. He's been on the front foot, to be fair, compared to Dara O'Dwyer, but he's just guided his team into the right areas of the field brilliantly and taking his kicks when they're being an offer.
15 as well. 15. 15.
Well, Mary's against
14, my apologies.
Blackrock tomorrow. Promises to be another really intriguing encounter.
Yeah,
They've managed the conditions brilliantly today. Both halves of the field into the breeze and with it. You wonder, will they'll settle for these conditions in the final? You wonder the way they've managed them. Very impressive. 67 minutes, and they'll just see it out from here. Thumped up into the air. O'Dwyer, he did well not to get hit hard in the tackle there by the advancing Miles Berman. Ben Conroy and Daniel Ryan getting their chance off the bench in the dying few moments to get everybody involved as it's taken on by Walter McMahon.
No, not in the ball.
Looked set for a turnover, but Gonzaga protected. And they've been excellent champions. They've given it their all. It's just not proved to be their day. And Quigley just forces them back, demoralisingly so, back to the edge of their own 22. Pumped downfield by Mulligan. Stays in field and picked up by O'Dwyer. And still going right to the end, the likes of Rory Brown. He's had a big game again in that Michael's back row, and they're being stressed all over the park.
Another big hit from Brown there, double effort. Unfortunately for Gonzaga, Sean Hennigan, who's had an excellent game as well. just knocks that ball on.
Matthew Furlong, Harry Miller, and Owen Toomey coming in, so that's the bench emptied. And some of those going off have had really prolific afternoons. Rian Coogan's carrying again has been huge.
He's gone there.
He's exceptional. Whoever plays Michaels in the final will be trying to shut him down.
And that man as well,
Yeah,
centre of your picture. Superb player.
Are they making a change, lads, yeah?
I mentioned Jack Boyle and Scott
Another
Tenney
player in
earlier.
there.
I didn't realise Chris Cosgrave, the Leinster Academy player, is part of the coaching staff as well.
Yeah.
Disappointment for Charlie Kennedy. John Brophy in for the last couple of minutes for Gonzaga as well. They'll go again next year. They've been wonderful champions. Brilliant team to watch. Conditions have gone against them today, but that's not to disparage the performance of St. Michael's, who've been absolutely excellent. It's been a thoroughly mature and workmanlike performance for them.
It's a brilliant kick from Quigley. He has to readjust because the ball just goes slightly over his head in the catch from O'Connor, but then he just adapts, just bangs it through on his right foot, and it's a nightmare for JP Breslin going back. Pat Wood coming to put pressure on alongside his centre partner Ethan Black. Just played the conditions so well, I think, having the Michaels.
Yeah. Quigley's execution time and again, real variety about his play has been really super. And you wouldn't back against them, just putting some further gloss on that scoreboard here. May well be the last play of the game as they put it through the hands of the forwards, the likes of Ed McLaughlin and others, and they're driving ever closer to the line. Is there a fourth try? Surely there is, and it's dotted down by the man who started off the scoring in the first half. Ethan Black gets try number 4 and his second of the afternoon for St. Michael's.
Yeah, easy for Black in the end, but it comes from a big carry from Berman. Then Ed McLaughlin, really dynamic, really powerful. Look at that leg drive, way over the gain line, couple of help from some of his friends, and that ball goes across, lovely pass from O'Connor. And Ethan Black just runs a great line like he did in the first half, as you said, and that'll be enough for today, I think.
Commiserations to the outgoing defending champions Gonzaga College, who fall at the penultimate hurdle, but it's Michael's back in the final for the first time since 2019. Comprehensive, emphatic and hugely strong and impressive winners in this Leinster Schools Cup semi-final. Reaction to come after the break, but the final score at Energia Park in Donnybrook reads St. Michael's College 32, Gonzaga 0.
Cheers, Josh.
Well done.
Thanks very much.
Yes, I can, yeah. Yeah. Welcome back to Energia Park in Donnybrook, where I'm joined by the head coach and captain of St Michael's College, who are the first side through to the Leinster Schools Senior Cup Final 2024, having resoundingly beaten the defending champions Gonzaga. Comprehensive scoreline in the end, 32 points to 0. James Sherwin, tell me just how tough that was and how proud you must be of this set of players to win in that fashion.
Yeah, I think I said I was pretty proud after the last game, but I think this absolutely tops it. As you said, they're defending champions, so we knew we'd have an unbelievably tough game ahead of us. They stuck it with us to the end. Such a good side. I'm so proud of the lads. I just can't believe it, really. So happy to get the chance to play in the ODS.
Such a hugely difficult set of conditions for both sets of players to come into and play. You managed the game really well in the first half, turned round leading by 13 points. We thought there might be 15 points in that wind and the rain in the second half, and to kick on and manage the game the way you did in the second half, hugely impressive.
Yeah, I think a few of us had experience. We played in these similar conditions against Blackrock last year where we just missed out. So we kind of knew what we were going into. We learned from last year and we just came back and really happy.
That score by Rian Coogan not long after half-time, absolutely crucial psychologically in the context of the game. But the way you managed the conditions, the way, there's so many players stood up, you carried ball really well all afternoon. But the chap alongside you, Joe Quigley, this afternoon was awesome, I thought.
Yeah, absolutely. He's an unbelievable player. There's no doubt about that. I think he's got a little jink in his step, and he's just so good. We can always rely on him, so just so happy, yeah.
As you said, looking forward to Easter, St Patrick's weekend at the RDS now.
Yeah. Absolutely. I just think so many of us have waited for our whole lives to get a chance to play in the RDS in the Senior Cup Final, and just to get this chance, we're just so unbelievably proud and just can't wait.
Okay, last request of the afternoon, if you just pass that on to Andy, I'll let you go and celebrate. Thanks so much. Hugely impressive character. He obviously is nursing a little bit of an injury. We hope that's something you can manage over the next little while to get him fit for the final, because he's a crucial player. But there were so many in Michael's shirts there today. I thought in particular the way you managed the conditions. We spoke about it pre-game and so what happened. Just managed the conditions so well and never gave Gonzaga a chance, really.
Yeah, I think, as you said, at half-time, we're up by 13. You think maybe they'll get back into the game if they get some pressure down in R22. I actually don't think the wind was quite as bad as it looks. The rain is driving all right. But we managed to weather any of those storms. We actually got some good territory in the second half. And once we got it in there, like we did against Terranure, we were able to get over the line.
And the pressure that you put Gonzaga under, I almost kind of felt at times for Dara O'Dwyer, accomplished player, lovely all-round footballer, but every time he got the ball, he was under massive pressure.
Well, we know all about Dara and some of his teammates as well. They're such a talented side. You have to nullify that in some way, and line speed, pressure, obviously the conditions helped in some way as well. But keeping a good width in our defensive line that was continually advancing on Gonzaga was kind of key. Now, they actually countered that with a couple of really smart kicks, and they nearly recovered them all. But we were able to kind of scramble well and didn't let them in the end.
Look, it goes without saying, you know how difficult it is to win this trophy. You know how difficult it is even to get back to a final. We've watched very good Michael sides in recent history not make it to a final. What's the focus now building up to St Patrick's Day in the final, whether it's Rock or Meary's you meet?
Yeah, so we've got to focus on our recovery first, our review of this game. There's definitely areas that we can improve at. We don't know what the weather is going to be like in 2 weeks' time, but we're just happy to be through this, and we'll follow our normal protocol from here. Review this game, watch tomorrow, see who comes through, and then prepare for that opposition, whoever it is.
Look forward to chatting to you then. Congratulations, and enjoy the celebrations and the build-up to the final.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, Andy. We'll just pass that across to Bernard and get Bernard Jackman's final couple of thoughts. Speaking about the conditions, as I said, kind of tongue-in-cheek during commentary, they won't be too disappointed if it's like this again, because they managed the conditions so well. I'm not saying it contributed to the win, but they play well in these conditions. They're a big, strong team.
Yeah, I remember the game that James Sherwin referenced against Blackrock last year, and it was very, very close. Two big packs going at each other, really good kicking game, but they definitely had that as an advantage over Gonzaga. They were able to squeeze them in the right areas. Tomorrow's two teams look a little bit bigger, but it'll be interesting to see who comes through that. And Michaels will feel really comfortable that they're in a good place. You know, they won't be confident because it's so long since they won it, but they're doing all the right things, you think, and are serious contenders.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's a one-sided scoreline, but maybe it's not a reflection, certainly, of what Gonzaga can do. Conditions didn't suit them, but on days like this, as I said to Andy, it's difficult to make a final. Your big players have to stand up. So many in Michael's blue today stood up. Quigley among those, James Sherman alongside them, Rian Coogan, David Walsh.
Yeah, there's no obvious weakness across the team. I mean, there's not one player there you'd say doesn't deserve to be in a final. And we've seen a bench come on, like Chris O'Connor, Miles Berman, etc., Ed McLaughlin. They have depth, strength and depth, and they have a couple of players injured who obviously weren't available today, and they'll hope that some of them come back into it. But yeah, it's a really strong team, as the two teams tomorrow are. But I think Michaels are in a really good place, and it's up to Blackrock or Mary's now to get into that final and show they have the tools to beat them. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, we'll get out of the rain and the conditions for now. We'll just reaffirm where we'll be tomorrow, which is 2:45, back here live on Premier Sports for that second semi-final that Birch is talking about. It's Blackrock against St Mary's. But for everyone here at Energia Park in Donnybrook, as St Michael's in the end cruised through to the final, their first since 2019, we'll say goodbye for now.